Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson, and as the daughter of a school teacher, I know just how important education is. No matter how old you are or your situation, continuing to learn will enrich your life and help remove barriers you didn't even know were there. So much opportunity, y'all. Whether it's a foreign language, history, or a different way to look at things, take some time each day to learn something new. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Hey, Meridian, it's Glenn Beck. Join me for the Glenn Beck program coming up at 9. Now back to Mornings in Meridian, right here on Meridian's News Talk Station, 102.1 WALT.
And good morning, everybody. Good Tuesday morning, the 20th of June. All right. Glad you're out there and tuned in to this, the 2 best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi, West Alabama. We have been here for you for years. We're going to continue to be there for you. Who are we? I'm Roger B. Say hi to the guy to my left who is definitely got his finger on the pulse of everything important. Say hi to Rob Atkinson.
Hey, good morning, sir.
You really have your finger on the pulse. I think you do.
Allegedly.
Ah.
If not, we'll make it sound good. How about that?
Hey, that works. Good to see you, man.
Absolutely. You too.
And of course, good to see you. Other people can say that because they can see you right now on our new live stream.
Absolutely. WALT Talk Radio, our new live streaming, and also exciting news, our brand new website has now officially launched as well, WALTmeridian.com. Folks can hit the listen live button online and listen to us on their desktop all throughout the day and catch Mornings in Meridian, Glenn Beck, all the other shows we offer here on ALT. So WALTmeridian.com.
All right. So you can turn the volume down so your boss doesn't hear it, but just enough so you can hear it.
There you go.
And listen to us all day long.
Absolutely. So we're everywhere now. So.
That is fantastic. Do we have to come into the 21st century? Really? Do we have to?
Like, yeah, we have to.
But no, this is we've had so many of you say, I can't listen to you at work, or whatever. So now you can. That's what's that website again, sir?
WALTmeridian.com.
WALTmeridian.com.
There you go. You'll see a big listen live button right there in the middle of the page, and also we'll be putting a lot of our archive videos from a lot of our shows up on the page as well. So a lot of good local infos coming there very soon as well. So we're working on a lot of new things. So.
And folks, I have to tell you, that when they put Rob in charge over here, I want you to know something. Things started happening. So good on you there, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
Also, this is me just kind of, kissing up to the guy in charge. keep that big fat check coming every week.
Well, somewhat thin.
That's right. I'm the only one that's big fat. Anyway, we're glad you're out there, folks, tuned in, ready to go. And of course, this show is brought to you by some very fine people out there. And I'm talking about the good folks at A&A Glass. Adam and Adam, they fix glass fast.
Absolutely. Of course, they're located at 217 22nd Avenue, a couple of doors down from the Children's Museum. Or if you want to say Sela Ward Parkway, you can do that as well. Of course, they've been fixing glass fast for over 10 years. And everything, is affordable down there at A&A Glass. Of course, they work with the insurance companies as well. And you're not going to find any better folks in the business. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Once again, that location is 217 22nd Avenue. Like I said, a couple of doors down from the Children's Museum. Whether it's a complete glass replacement or rock peck, they can get it done at A&A Glass. Their number, 601-693-GLASS. That's 601-693-4527. That's A&A Glass.
And because this is the third Tuesday of the month, we often have, for many, many years, have found him on our doorstep. He is the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of Lauderdale County. Say hi to Sheriff Billy Solly.
Decades, sir.
Decades.
Decades.
Yeah.
I've been doing this show for decades.
You know, it has been a while.
It has.
It has been a while.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm thinking, now, I don't know if you came on before I ever came on board, but.
Way before you, sir.
Wow.
There you go.
Let's see, 15 years plus is what I can say.
Yep.
All right. Well, you don't look a day older, sir. All right, moving on.
Moving right along.
Sheriff William Solly, so glad you're here with us today. Of course, lots to talk about. Plus, we want to open it up the phone lines. If anybody has any questions for you, sir,
yes, sir.
This is the day to ask. They can contact the sheriff directly. Our number here is 601-485-9191. 601-485-9191. Put you right here on the show with us.
Absolutely. So, now you guys have been pretty busy here lately.
Been busy. Been real busy. Of course, this week's grand jury week.
Oh.
All those cases that the area law enforcement have put together over the past, I was going to say 6 months, but some agencies has been back to 2018, 2019, putting cases together. Those are being presented this week. And parking is a little difficult downtown around the courthouse this week. and our next term of court is also going on.
So the grand jury is how many people?
22 people.
Okay. So that's
yesterday they ordered the jury, and you probably had close to 150 folks that they asked questions and eliminated. Ended up with 22 individuals representing our community that will hear cases, felony cases all week long. Probably go through Friday morning.
All right. Now, keep in mind, this is the grand jury is these are cases that are being presented, and the grand jury decides whether they go on for trial or not.
Exactly.
So that's what the grand jury does.
Right. They issue a no true bill or a true bill, which means they believe there's enough probable cause to continue down the path of prosecution.
And a lot of this decision is based on the amount of evidence collected in the case that's presented. So this is where we find out if the investigators have done their job.
Exactly.
And or done them properly anyway.
Exactly.
And so this is where we get into the controversy lots of times because a case was dismissed. Why? Well, because evidence wasn't, I don't know. You answer the question. What are some of the main reasons that a case is not doesn't receive a true bill? Is that right?
No true bill. Oftentimes the victims will request for non-prosecution, and it'll be on the grand jury list of presentations. The presentation we made to the grand jury, and then normally a written statement will be read to the grand jury saying this victim does not want to prosecute. I know we had one this past grand jury that was no true bill. It was an actual arson fire where it was a husband wife. They didn't file any insurance. She had set the house on fire, and the husband said, "I do not want to prosecute." We had already charged her, and they came back with a no true bill in that case.
Okay, so that happens from time to time. Victims say no.
They go to church and decide to forgive.
Okay.
Will they also do the usual touring of the jail and stuff like that?
That'll either be Thursday or Friday this week.
Okay.
Very good then. Well, so we'll see what comes out of that. That should be they'll be in session most of this week, and then
they are. Like I said, they were ordered yesterday. They started hearing cases shortly before noon yesterday, and we'll go through, like I say, possibly Friday morning.
I just like the word voir dire. It's
Voir dire.
I mean, it's.
Or it could be like Joe Pesci.
Well,
Voir dire, the witness.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know the word until I watched my cousin.
A lot of people didn't.
I mean, there's like, what's that word?
So if they're going through Friday, when will we expect a full report? Probably Monday, you would think.
I would think probably first next week.
Okay.
As far as the list of those persons who've been indicted, it'll probably be 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. All right.
Well, there you have it. So the grand jury doing their thing, and so this is when the district attorney's office pretty busy. Well, they've been busy, but now they're putting the cases together.
Right. And again, they're busy year round because half the year they're preparing cases, prepping cases for Clark County, Wayne County, and Jasper County.
Okay. All right. Very good.
That's that makes it kind of a district.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
District. That's why they call it district attorney, I guess. There's a whole district you got to cover.
That's the way that works.
Yeah.
All right. Well, of course, you, sir, you're concerned with Lauderdale County, and we're just kind of seeing that, the criminals somehow, even though you've been on the show for many, many years, they're not intimidated. They're still out there doing bad stuff.
They truly are. And unfortunately, guys, we as a society are reaping what we didn't do.
Mm.
We didn't do a good job of raising our children.
Oh, okay.
Last week at the sheriff's conference, the last speaker was talking about the millennials and the workforce. You and I, we were raised with, if you put forth the effort, if you did your homework, if you showed up early, if you had a nice, clean attire, you rarely called in sick, you volunteered for extra work, you got compensated.
Mm-hmm.
You would be considered a candidate for promotion at some point in time, or you would be a candidate for a raise or a new vehicle if you're a patrol officer. Today's society, with everyone getting a trophy, the mentality of many of our young people coming to our workforce is, you owe me. You owe me.
I'm here, so you owe me. I haven't done anything for you yet. I haven't performed the services to
been there maybe an hour on the job, and where's my check at? Literally.
I haven't excelled.
Yeah.
I haven't gone above and beyond. I've showed up, and you owe me.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And that's not just in law enforcement. That's worldwide. Our millennials.
Maybe some of that mentality is because you hear some companies or organizations paying sign-on bonuses. Like, they're so desperate for employees that they're actually saying, yeah, if you come and sign up, you get this. That kind of sets that stage for that kind of mentality too, doesn't it?
Sure it does. Sure does. And unfortunately, in
I'm
sports,
here. Where's my money?
Where's my check?
And unfortunately, in sports, particularly college sports, there is no stick with it. There is no more. Yeah, I signed on with this university. They promised me an education. No, I signed on to look at the portal and increase my value.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tearing our country apart.
Well, now for the happy news. Now for the upbeat news.
Well, I mean,
there are still people in jail, though. Is that right?
A lot of people in jail.
But you mentioned that sports part of it too. I mean, it trickles down to everything else.
Sure.
I mean, you're absolutely right with it tearing everything apart, because kids nowadays, you see them transfer 3 or 4 times before they even if they do get a degree, most times, because they got all that NIL money coming their way. They're more worried about padding their pockets instead of what's good for the team and getting that actual degree they're supposed to be getting. So,
I mean, the speaker last week said that his research indicates that most 23-year-olds that have entered the workforce at the age of 18, by the time they've reached 23 years of age, have had 7 different jobs.
Wow.
So it's extremely difficult to be bosses in today's world, to be employers in today's world, because so many of our young employees, you owe me.
I was just talking to a business owner yesterday, and they said, I was talking about the service on a particular item, and they said, yeah, we've had people show up to be mechanics. They may last a week, or they may last a few days, and then they're gone. As far as somebody showing up and having the stick-to-itiveness, if you will, it's rare. It's rare in today's atmosphere.
I mean, I blew the speaker's mind last week. He's a professor, psychologist down in Gainesville, and he said, I need to know the crowd that I'm speaking to, talking about the sheriffs in the room. He said, how many of you have 15 years of law enforcement experience? Well, everybody raised their hand. He said, okay, 20 years. Some hands went down. He said, 25 years. Some more hands went down. 30 years. 35 years. When he got to 40 years, it was just two hands.
Yours.
Mine and one other sheriff.
Well, we're glad for that. We're glad you kind of stuck it out there, sir.
And he looked at me and he says, how many years have you been in law enforcement? I said, 49. He said, you're old.
And you said,
yes, sir. I am.
yes, sir. Just wear it. Yes, sir. Just wear it.
But it was really neat. I mean, this guy had a 3-hour block to speak to the sheriffs for the state of Mississippi, and he had a tremendous PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And he's one screen after one screen after one screen. And by that time, he pops up and it's got the Welcome to Mississippi sign out on the interstate with 3 Lauderdale County sheriff's cars parked in front of it.
All right, there we go.
I said, that's my cars. He said, I just typed in law enforcement vehicles Mississippi on Google, and that picture popped up. But it was kind of unique.
So just welcoming people to the state, I'm sure. That's why you were out there with the welcome sign.
We're here to protect you.
Glad you're here. Give them a little jar of pickles or something. These pickles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
And that's another
deep
time.
fried pickles. Yeah.
The wife and I are not doing that this year.
You're not?
No. Oh, we did not go down to Loosedale and purchase a pickup truck full of produce. Because we had so much left over from last year.
Have we missed the season? Is it too late for me to go down there and get some stuff?
No, sir. You go to Wiggins or Loosedale.
Yeah.
Both of them are Eubanks Farms.
Okay. That's
Beautiful.
That got to make a note. Eubanks Farms.
Eubanks.
I mean, we're the missus actually started a garden this year again because just having a hankering for just a simple hankering for a fresh tomato.
Sure.
Just a good vine ripe tomato.
That season.
So I guess if nothing else, you got to grow tomatoes, right?
Do you have any peppers for your peas and stuff?
Yeah, I got some peppers going.
Okay.
Yeah, she did that.
Well, glad to hear that because I had a bag out in the car I was going to give you, but not you got your own.
I don't think there's that many peppers. I don't think there's that many. No.
Can you tell I've investigated and maybe interviewed some folks before?
You have, haven't you? All right. Well, it's kind of interesting. We'll talk about that and more. Of course, getting the news as it trickles out here in the Meridian area. Of course, what used to be considered a fairly safe part of town. Gunshots fired over the weekend up at near Waffle House, of all places. And of course, and now we get word that the Meridian Police Department is investigating that. Anything from the sheriff's side of that incident?
Unfortunately, we have many in our society that have deemed it necessary to not talk it out, but use violence without care for those who are standing around. The early information that I received was that the 3 victims were not intended targets; that they were bystanders. These bad guys, they don't take into consideration that bullet does not have a name on it. Once you've pulled the trigger, it's going wherever it wants to go, and whoever it hits may or may not be the intended victim.
So this person is not or is in custody. Do we know?
I do not. I have not been told that the PD has made any arrest on that.
Yeah, just investigating.
Right.
So, and then, I mean, I thought of a risk that a person has when they do that. They decide that they want to do that. Well, we do have in this county people who are law-abiding concealed carry people.
Sure.
And once something like that happens, what's to stop them from taking action and stopping this shooter?
The only true thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
And that's exactly what we're talking about here. So,
Hmm.
I guess this person can be considered fortunate. There wasn't somebody like that there that evening. Of course, this was like what 2 in the morning.
I think it was around 3 a.m.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
someone who had that gun and who's proficient,
Hmm.
just having it.
I notice you use those two things together. Not just having a gun,
Right.
but being proficient with it.
Exactly. Do the touchy-feely thing with that gun every day if you can. Make sure you know how to reload the magazine in a stressed environment. Uh, if you go to the range, don't just stand there and shoot at a paper target. Get in different positions. Sit down in a chair. Get on the floor. Use different angles.
You think
Exert
the
yourself.
manager of the range will come in there and say, "Hey, what's going on?" Or will they understand?
I think they will understand.
Okay. We got a man down there in aisle 2, there, gallery 2 there. So yeah, that's go check on him. But that's the thing that you've always said, and that's the good thing I want people to know about our sheriff's department is that Sheriff Solly, if anyone who can legally own a gun, carry a gun, and be proficient, and that's always been the added part of that is don't just carry it and say, "Look at me, I'm protected."
Hmm.
No, that's not it. You've got to realize that if heaven forbid that there's anything that's going to happen that's going to cause you to draw that weapon, it's not going to be exactly how you've thought about it in your mind.
Absolutely. And you've got to be prepared mentally after that shot's fired. You have.
And is that even possible?
Quite often it's not. But again, we have many resources here locally for those individuals who are involved in a self-defense situation.
Mm-hmm.
That they can receive counseling and therapy and get beyond the crisis they see in their mind.
And we hear stories about of course, again, we're comparing Lauderdale County with New York City, but the man on the subway who was trying to hold a man at bay, and the man dies, and so now he is being charged with a crime.
I mean, I saw this weekend on
and he's trying to protect the people around him.
I saw on Old Patrol Live this weekend a bus driver. He's inside a closed compartment at the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Guy comes up brandishing a gun. The bus driver takes out his gun and takes care of the threat. The bus driver is terminated because the company had a policy you're not supposed to have guns. But I saw where they're trying to get a GoFundMe account raised, and they're trying to find him a new job.
And then we had, I think Fox showed a lady yesterday that she was just a clerk at the Circle K, and just a guy was shoplifting, came actually behind her counter to get some cigarettes. He's going to lift some of those, and she just kind of touched him and pushed him a little bit, and she gets fired for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, these criminals have they know how the process is going to play out in those big cities. They know exactly what's going to happen. Well, what's not going to happen, I should say that. But I mean, you're seeing case after case after case like that.
Right. Again, another war story from a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was a store there on 20th Street many years ago. The clerk was there. A guy came in, made a purchase. When the cash register drawer opened up, bad guy reaches and grabs the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget the clerk. She slammed the drawer shut, pinning the guy's fingers in the drawer. And then he's staring down the barrel of a pistol.
Mm.
Don't go nowhere. Police are on the way.
And that person wasn't fired for that action.
No, sir.
And see, this is
it's interesting.
How did we just come upside down like that? I mean, I get it. Okay. I think part of it has to do with large corporations. You're working, if you're a convenience store chain, it's a large corporation. Mm-hmm. They're thinking about litigation.
Sure.
That's probably not something that was thought of so much back in the day.
I mean, the same thing is occurring at your large department stores, where their employees are being told, don't intervene. If a person is shoplifting, let them have it.
Well, that's like these big cities. What is it, San Francisco? I think it's like a limit. Was it like $900? I think, and it's still a misdemeanor. I think is what they're saying. So I mean, you have these big cities and these progressive ideas that are basically setting the bar. I mean, that's like the facial recognition story up in New York with that one particular chain of stores. They're saying it's racist to have that in there. I'm like, really? The guy was like, has nothing to do with that. It's about catching criminals. So you have leadership. It's just a trickle down effect from leadership all the way down into the corporations too. So it's unreal.
So, what's the answer, folks? If you got some, we'd love to hear them. That's right. We need to hear them about them right now. It's Mornings in Meridian. We're going to take a break for Fox News. Sheriff Solly's in the house with us. And, figure out how I can get those peppers he brought for me. I think I may have stepped in it here this morning. All right. Not even the first half hour. I'm already messed up. Hey, we're going to be right back. Stay with us. Don't go away.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. If they're alive, 5 people missing on board a submersible to the Titanic might be able to survive until Thursday morning. Coast Guard's looking for them.
When the sub was put to sea around 6 a.m. Sunday, about 435 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, it had about 96 hours of air. A Canadian research icebreaker was supporting the Titan and reportedly lost contact with it about an hour and 45 minutes after it submerged.
Fox's Tanya G. Powers. President Biden today in California hears about some of the possible pros and cons of artificial intelligence and gives a speech about it this afternoon.
The White House says the president's meeting with AI experts and researchers in San Francisco as the administration tries to handle the risks posed by the technology as well as the potential opportunities.
Fox's Jill Nato. The president has 2 campaign receptions planned this evening. America's listening to Fox News.
To those state emergency workers.
I'm Jennifer Kushenko with Your Money Now. Dyson, known for its consumer gadgets such as vacuum cleaners, hair styling products, and air purifiers, is now breaking into a new generation of products. Recently launched devices like its robot vacuum boast intelligent features which require more software development, and the company has ramped up hiring in order to support those functions. Dyson says it's seen a tenfold increase in its engineers working in software over the last few years as it seeks to hire another 2,000 engineers globally. A federal judge has ordered Canadian energy company Enbridge to remove parts of an oil pipeline on tribal lands in Wisconsin and pay the tribe more than $5 million for trespassing. The ruling came after the Bad River Band of Lake Superior Chippewa sued Enbridge in 2018, claiming the 12-mile pipeline is in danger of rupturing on their land, and that land agreements allowing it to run on the reservation expired in 2013. On Wall Street, futures are lower this morning.
I'm Kenneth Graham, and I'm asking you to elect me as your next coroner for Lauderdale County. I have served this community 10 years in law enforcement, and I've served our country 30 years in the military. I've documented and investigated many death scenes. My experience as an investigator with the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department and my work in medical evacuation in the Air National Guard make me uniquely qualified to serve as your coroner. On August the 8th, I respectfully ask for you to vote for Kenneth Graham, coroner. Thank you.
Paid for by the Committee for the Election of Kenneth Graham for coroner. This is an unprecedented time of instability and change. More than ever, families and businesses are looking for security and reassurance that someone is vigilant, watching over what matters most. At Meyer & Rosenbaum, we are committed to meeting our clients' insurance needs. While responsibly practicing daily social distancing, we have been here every day for the love of our clients and our community. Meyer & Rosenbaum, now located at 1901 Front Street, historic downtown Meridian.
Owning an LS tractor is about a lot of things. For me, it's about lift capacity. It's about the hydraulics. Owning an LS, it's about how well it's made. Steel bay, more features, standard features. It's about the land, having something to pass down. It's about having pride in my work. It's about owning the best LS tractor. What's it about for you? Stop by Freeman Tractor, 11616 Highway 494, and see coleslaw and buttermilk today.
0% financing on selected models.
People of Meridian, it's time you get the benefits you deserve. If you're eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid, there's a local health plan just for you. Shared Health Dual Plus, a dual eligible special needs plan with more benefits like a $2,500 yearly allowance for over-the-counter items and groceries, a $600 yearly allowance for utility bills, a $5,000 yearly allowance for dental care, and shared rewards, all accessed on one easy-to-use card, plus more. Call 855-446-6968, TTY 711, or visit sharedhealthms.com.
Hey, Dr.
trail. Shared Health Fuel Plus is an HMO D-SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Mississippi Division of Medicaid. Enrollment in Shared Health Fuel Plus depends on contract renewal. Shared Health Mississippi Inc. does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability in its health programs and activities. Benefit limits and exclusions may apply. Check the plan's evidence of coverage or details, or give us a call.
Driving home, let Joe pack Rod Shotgun. Weekdays at 5 on Meridian's News Talk 102.1 WALT.
I can see you thinking about the same thing. Yes, I see your expression on. We both know that something happened here. There's no sense in dancing around the subject of who gets worse when it's treated with neglect. Well, don't turn now, there's nothing here to fear. You can talk to me. Talk to me. You can talk to me. You can talk to me, baby.
All right, welcome back. Morning, Meridian. Look at there. Stevie Nicks has the very theme of our show. You can talk to me. You can talk to us.
Let it marinate a little bit longer.
No, we'll 601 485 9191.
He's only got a few more times until he can enjoy this, you know.
More time.
Exactly. So I'm trying to, you know.
We're just checking them off here. Sheriff Sully's in the house. Rob Ackerson, Roger B. It's all good here this morning on this Tuesday, the 20th of June. Stevie Nicks doesn't have a birthday today. It's just we're playing her because the sheriff's here.
Thank you.
And he's grateful for that. Oh, we're so glad you're out there tuned in. Of course, the sheriff was kind enough to bring us a biscuit this morning, and thank you for that, Sheriff. But none of you have that luxury. Not all of you have that luxury. So there's a good place to go get some breakfast right now at exit 150 on I-2059. Go to exit 150 to the Magnolia Restaurant.
That's right, inside the Queen City Truck Stop. Of course, you can start the day off with some breakfast, and lunch is going to start serving at about 10:30 today. And Roger, on the menu is Thanksgiving on a plate. Turkey and dressing is on the menu today. They also
Don't forget the cranberry sauce.
That's right, cranberry sauce is key. Chicken wings, of course, beef liver with onions and gravy also on the menu today as well. Or if you just want to go the Biggie Burger route, a lot of other options on the menu there at the Magnolia Restaurant inside the Queen City Truck Stop. Like Roger said, just off of exit 150. And if you want to get it to go plate as well, you can do that. 601-482-0259. And we call it Meridian's unofficial lunch counter. It's the Magnolia Restaurant inside the Queen City Truck Stop. Go by and see them today.
Absolutely. All right, it's Mornings in Meridian. Of course, Stevie Nicks didn't have a birthday, but look at there. Brian Wilson, 81 years old.
Wow.
And Duran Duran's John Taylor is 63. And look at Anne Murray, the great velvety voice of the lady from Canada, 78 years old today. So happy birthday. Today is your birthday. I guess a shout out to my buddy Troy Moore. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday, sir.
Neighbor.
Ah, your neighbor. Okay, very good. Is he a good neighbor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right. So shout out. If you want to shout out a birthday, you can do that by calling us at 601-485-9191. Caller on the line. Let's go there now. You're on the air with Roger B., Rob, and the sheriff. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, true American patriots.
Look at there. Come on in here.
But, you know, Stevie Nicks, let's run the checklist here. Blonde, beautiful, a real female, not a rebuild. In front of the mirror, checklist complete.
Checklist complete. Gosh. I can tell that you have some aircraft captain work in your background there. You worked around aircraft.
Yes. sometimes better than others.
Yeah.
But no, but the sheriff has got, he's been in law enforcement half a century. He's seen it from a rookie patrolman to the highest ranking law enforcement officer of the entire Lauderdale County. And we no longer teach ethics, morals, and values.
Mm.
And the destruction of the family is part of the reason crime is like it is. And it can be traced back to Lyndon Baines Johnson with the Great Society and the welfare state. Government's going to give you everything, whether you're entitled to it, deserve it, or not. And all you got to do is just maintain. Be sure to vote Democrat now to keep the ball rolling. But we live in a society where everybody's special. Everybody deserves a trophy. Somebody's little feelings get hurt. They're sensitive. Everybody deserves everything for free. You shouldn't have to pay your student loan debt back. You should let others work while you just ride the rope and pull in the benefits. And at the same time, you're preaching diversity, equality, equity, inclusiveness, and it is a myth, lore, and lie.
Mm.
And it has been since the first one sucked air down here.
Well,
There
is an idea where everybody is supposed to, in a society, pull their own weight as they can.
This country
Make their
was
contribution as they
based
can.
on freedom. It was based on individualism. It was based on resilience and resolve and being able to take care of your own problems. I love to quote Reagan on this. It's almost spiritual. A government big enough to give you everything you want is also big enough to take every bit of it away.
Well put. Yeah, he did a good one on that one.
And, the crime problem here in Meridian, it's out of control. Everybody knows that. I appreciate the job Sheriff Solly and his deputies do, and I think they do an outstanding job. It's got Sheriff Solly's dynamic leadership and good quality, high professional people. But it could happen anytime, anywhere, and you cannot carry a law enforcement officer in your back pocket, but you can a Smith and Wesson. And I might be preaching from the book of Ruger next week, but everybody that can legally carry that weapon needs to be armed and ready to roll. And you need the training. You need the psychological mindset too. You can get a lot of psychotherapy if you need this on this side of the dirt. I personally know folks that kill people, like in war and other places.
Yeah.
Some it affects, some it doesn't. And the thing about it, you got to ask yourself this question. Are you important enough to yourself and your family, friends, and loved ones? Do you want to suck that next breath of air, or do you want somebody to throw dirt in your face because somebody decided your life wasn't important? And these people that are being broken into, there's a solution to that. It's called a Mossberg 590 Shockwave. It's a BATFP certified, street legal, sawed-off shotgun. Yeah, that's a double aught buckshot. If God puts life and blood in it, I can send it back to him dead. But that's the only thing these people understand. You can have all these prayer-thons, oh, we need to pray harder and sing louder and love and hug and all this. None of that's going to reach these people, man. They're devoid of conscience, heart, and soul. But a bullet will, or a wad of buckshot will reach them.
That's strong.
And that's what it takes. Society has to make up their mind. If we want to live, law and order is what creates a civil society. And without law and order, we might as well go to Mad Max or Thunderdome, man. Just whatever you think you need to do, that's what you need to do that day. Some days the bear eats you, some days you eat the bear. But law and order separates civil societies from third world cultures. And it is, a lot of this is a culture problem. People don't want to address that, but it is a culture problem. It's the gangs. It's I guess, the thrill of the hunt type thing, the sense of belonging to something. All right, but look at the facts.
Yep.
Don't be keyed on the emotion and, oh, we need to feel sorry and let society let them down. So that's not society's job. They let themselves down.
Mm.
Okay.
That's a good point. I like that. I'm gonna chew on that one. Society
Yeah.
let us down. There you go. I like that.
No. It's not the government's job. It's not society. It's not the church. It's not some organization. It's your job to obey the laws.
Now you're putting what you're doing is you're making it. What you're saying, you're making
individual responsibility.
That's what you're trying to say. That everybody's responsible for themselves.
Oh, it's gun violence. That's a damn lie. It's violent people committing crimes with guns. They didn't have guns. They have knives. They have firearms, reefing hatchets, machetes. How many heads you reckon been lopped off in South America and Mexico with machetes? It's a pretty good tool.
Got one of them too.
I killed a moccasin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for you, sir. Good for you. All right,
but
sir.
We've got to make up our mind. Do we want to save society, or do we want to save some parasitic pervert and predator that is of no value to society? Build more prisons, put some asylums out there for the criminally insane because they cannot live among us.
Okay, I like that.
And we have bond issues for everything, splash pads and schools, sports complexes. Let's get a bond issue and build a prison and make money off of it because these other places that don't have it, they send their people here and we get money from them.
All right.
But incarcerate the ones that they quit blaming an inanimate object. You're just as dead from a hammer or a brick bat as you are a 12-gauge shotgun. There ain't part-time dead or could be dead. It's graveyard dead. Roger that.
There you go. Jerry Clower at the end there. I like it.
Graveyard dead.
Graveyard dead.
Just like a mule put down for old Uncle. What was the uncle?
Uncle Percy.
Uncle Percy. Yeah. We're glad you're out there. And of course, you too can be part of the show, 601-485-9191. On a serious side of all this, Sheriff, we talk about, you've got all the arguments. Yeah. Build more jails. What does that really look like? If you were to build a larger jail, another jail, start putting people in it, I know what that means. That means the taxpayers are going to be paying more money to house prisoners.
Correct.
What else does that look like?
You have to have the mentality of while that person is away, while that person is incarcerated, that person is not reoffending. You have to have that mentality. You have to get over this. What it's costing me money. Well, do you want to be a victim?
And I think I guess the whole system has been so eroded because you have the emboldened prisoner. I mean, not prisoner, the criminal.
Sure.
Who knows? Okay, I can walk in this store and take whatever I want. I can walk in with a gun, like they did in Meridian. Start taking stuff off the shelf and walk out.
Right.
They start thinking, yeah, I shot a few shots up there in Broadmoor. Yeah. So have they done anything to me yet? No. It's that emboldened mentality. Okay, so we have that we're working with. You can't touch me. You can't do anything with me. You have, all right, you take them off to jail, and then the next thing you do, I guess, the next day they're out on bond, perhaps.
True.
So then,
if they go to jail at all.
And so the guy who put the cuffs, or the guy or gal that put the cuffs on that criminal, they're sitting there driving by, seeing the guy on the street again, and saying, okay, there's a demoralizing kind of a dynamic, which I don't know how you, as a police officer or a sheriff's office, a deputy, deals with that. And then there's this, you have the state saying, hey, we're spending too much money. Let's raise the amount that is considered to be a misdemeanor. And that way we have less felonies, less people in jail for a longer period of time. So then criminals are out. You have the breakdown of the home where, the only thing a kid knows growing up is hanging out with people with guns. And, hey, if I'm going to stay in good with these guys, I got to take care of these other guys across town. Back and forth. So it's just a big jumbled mess. And yes, I think we got here over a long period of time. I don't think the cure happens tomorrow, but how do we start that? What's the beginning of the cure of this this melee, this whole big mess we're in?
Again, hiring 200, 300, 400 police officers.
And then there's that. You got to find people that'll work these prisons and be on the streets, and they're not just lining up at your door these days.
Right. I mean,
the good ones. I mean,
sure.
I mean, I've offered my services for years, but you won't have
no. I mean, I showed you my new taser before we went on the air. Now you started.
Sheriff got a new taser.
You started salivating. I mean,
he was like, "Oh,
can I touch it? Can I?"
I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a 4 cartridge taser, and it's got short range and long range capabilities. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
All right,
reach out and touch it.
And I like the particular story that if there's a couple of people that are being ornery, you can touch one, and there's enough left to touch another one, but the first one gets the zap on that too. So
absolutely.
You know, well, see, that's the problem with law enforcement. Y'all just enjoy that too much.
No, we don't. I'm going to tell you, if I ever have the opportunity to pull my taser and be forced to discharge it, I'm going to beg the person, please don't make me do this. You probably never heard this from your daddy. I heard it from my daddy. This is going to hurt me worse than hurt you. Trust me. I don't want to do it.
And so there you have it. So it's not something that men and women in uniform are just itching to do.
Absolutely. In fact, we've issued these new tasers out over a month ago, and I think we've had one tasing. So they are,
which is actually a pretty good option than the other way to stop a criminal.
Absolutely. You know, back in the day,
obviously,
way back in the day, we had the old PR-24, the plastic baton with the handle on it that was made famous by a TV show. What was the name? Is it T.J. Hooker?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again, so much has evolved in law enforcement since I got into this profession. You know, who would have thought that Dick Tracy predicted the future? I mean, how many of us?
That cartoon that was so fanciful that you could actually have a phone.
Watch on your phone.
Your phone is a watch. It's like, oh man, and basically a tabletop PC and everything else. It's
absolutely.
You can speak into it and be like, hey, and then it does it for you.
You check your blood oxygen level. Check, make sure you're in sinus rhythm.
And recently, I was using the phone for a translator because my son, who likes to mess with me from time to time, sent me a Father's Day card, which was very kind. I thought that was probably inspired by his wife. She probably sent it, but it was all in Spanish.
Uh-oh.
So I think they're investigating the language Spanish down there in the Keys, and so they just sent me a card on. So I had to use my translator. But anyway, that being said, it was kind of fun, and it was enjoyable. But we started out talking about what's this big ship of just societal breakdown, and this big ship of lawlessness. It's got to be turned. Can it be turned? And so, what does that start looking like?
I don't know how bad it's got to get before the masses rise up and say, we've got to change everything. We've got to change how we deal with the criminals, how we make our community safe again, how we make our schools safe. I mean, we all know that the discipline in the school systems has been thrown out.
Had that discussion with Delbert Hoseman the other day when he called in.
Right.
And it's like, you know, it's we've got to go back to, and some parents are all for empowering the teacher to discipline their student. But the ones who need the discipline oftentimes have a parent that comes running to the school saying, what have you done to my child? Well, let's explain what your child has done to this classroom.
Right. You know, unfortunately, crime has no boundaries. This past weekend up in Lauderdale, one of the candidates seeking my job announced to the public during his political stump speech that he too was a victim of a crime. It was a misdemeanor crime, but we can go one step further. The same individual who was running for sheriff was also a victim of a felony crime in recent years, where he was threatened to the point that the individual was charged with a felony crime of threatening a judge. This particular,
glad they were charged. Yeah,
this particular, both these incidents occurred inside the city of Meridian. the theft, the most recent incident, a theft of a backpack blower, and the previous incident, the threat to a judge, both occurred inside the city. The victim chose to call the sheriff's department to investigate these crimes instead of calling the Meridian Police Department.
I think I would too. Based on what I know,
we were very pleased the fact that this individual said, "Hey, let's let the sheriff's department work this case instead of calling the police department," even though the police department has the jurisdiction to investigate that crime or those crimes.
So evidently that jurisdiction is not limited only to the police department if you're contacted then.
True. I mean, last week we finally had the victims come down and sign affidavits on the incident that occurred in the city parking garage, where we had some county vehicles damaged, as well as some AT&T cars damaged to the point of being totaled. We've actually placed 2 individuals in custody on those felony charges of felony vandalism.
Wow. So if we're going to keep locking them up, which is good, and the sheriff's department doing a fine job on investigating and all the rest, do we need to build that other jail? Do we need to go out in the county and clear off a big old 300-acre spot and put a nice jail complex out there?
It'd be great if we had the money and the resources, being people to watch the inmates.
See, we need money.
Money.
Rob, we need let's make a list. We need money.
We need the people.
We need personnel.
And money again.
And then the money. Let's take a phone call here. 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How are you doing?
Good morning, friends. Every day's a great day.
Oh, look at you. I like the Mr. Sunshine. Come on in here.
That's correct. I'd first like to say thank you to Sheriff Solly for the 20 years that I've spent at the courthouse working around you and Mr. Ward Calhoun. It was a pleasure. We're going to hate to see you go. Thanks for all the experience and the protection you've given us for most all of your life. But enjoy hearing from you, and I hope you'll come back and be on Roger's show in the future.
It's going to cost him.
Have a great day.
It's going to cost him.
Yeah, it won't be with it won't be with biscuits. I can tell you.
You know, I think we need to renegotiate the contract that I'm currently working under. I did not realize that I was going to be live on Facebook today. I think we need to renegotiate this contract.
We will.
You've done a great job, and I appreciate your service, and I hope you're safe and have a great retirement.
Thank you. Do appreciate that.
Bye bye.
All right, thank you. And of course, count them down. We said what, 6 more shows?
193 days.
He's seriously counting, but
wouldn't you?
Well, you know, I know
16 hours, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds.
But I know what he's doing. He's counting them down, but he's also thinking, okay, I'm going to chill out for a few weeks, and then he's going to be signing up to go put on a uniform, work somewhere.
Never know.
You never know.
I did have a sheriff at the conference 2 weeks ago offer me a job.
Oh, okay. Look at you. Well, that sounds good. I think the way things are going, you might be able to do well as a personal security for somebody. Something like that.
I haven't shot anybody since 1976.
Thank you for not doing that, by the way. And that's a good thing that you haven't done that. You need to hear that story. But first of all, let's talk about being protected. Of course, insurance is something we don't like to talk about. We don't want to spend money on it. But when you need it, you really need it. And why not work with somebody that you really enjoy working with, like Jeffrey Wilson?
That's right. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. That's right. State Farm insurance agent Jeffrey Wilson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in Meridian. You can call him at 601-483-8253. Of course, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The average annual per household savings is based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm. And Jeffrey, of course, is located at 2401 Highway 39 North. You can't miss him here in Meridian. And of course, Jeffrey's been doing insurance here for a good while here in Meridian. Does a lot in the community as well. Jeffrey loves his community, loves Meridian. And call him today for all your insurance needs. 601-483-8253. That is Jeffrey Wilson, State Farm insurance agent here in the Queen City.
All right. Mornings in Meridian. Got a story that probably be good for our coroner candidates. Woman in Ecuador who was previously discovered to be alive in a coffin is now actually really passed away for sure.
Well, they're not going to win the candidacy down there.
I don't think that coroner got reelected.
No,
did
don't think so.
Mornings in Meridian. We're visiting with Sheriff Solly. We're going to take a break for Fox News. We'll come back with more, so please stay with us. Roger, Rob, and the sheriff.
The old guy.
Is it floating on the ocean's surface or stuck 2 miles deep underwater? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Coast Guard keeps searching the surface and using sonar under it, trying to find a submersible still missing on a tour of the Titanic shipwreck. Rear Admiral John Mauger says,
We're bringing in technical expertise to understand both the dynamics of underwater search and underwater rescue.
if the sub's intact, they only have enough air to last till Thursday. There are 5 people on board. The expert company's CEO, Stockton Rush, French Titanic researcher Paul Henry Nargalet, and
a statement was sent to the Associated Press from one of Pakistan's most prominent families, saying Shahzada Dawood and his son Suleiman were on the trip and that they're praying for their safe return. Hamish Harding, a British billionaire adventurer, lives in Dubai and was one of the people on board, according to Action Aviation, a company for which Harding serves as chair.
as Fox is telling you, Jay Powers, farther south in the Atlantic, what's expected to be the first hurricane of the season.
Tropical storm Brett is continuing along its forecasted track with sustained winds at 40 miles an hour. It's due to strengthen in the coming day or so and reach hurricane status before crossing into the Caribbean, where it should then weaken.
Fox's Evan Brown. It's too early to know if Brett might threaten the U.S. Former President Trump tells Fox he has zero worry about the federal charges he pleaded not guilty to a week ago related to classified documents he had at his Florida resort, telling Fox's Brett Baer he's a political target.
There are 31 documents listed: nuclear capabilities of foreign countries, related to military capabilities of foreign countries, intelligence briefings on foreign countries. Why do you want to hold on to those documents after you're president?
I don't say I do.
You just didn't know what was in the box?
With NARA giving them back. All of a sudden, we've got raided.
But he's accused of obstruction, not wanting to give some back. Now, President Biden's also being investigated for having passed classified documents. He's in California for the second of a 3-day trip. He's focused on artificial intelligence issues today and raising more money for his re-election campaign. America's listening to Fox News.
What happens when America's bubble finally bursts? The dollar's value would be destroyed along with the value of your 401k or IRA. And this would be a total catastrophe for the nation. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and the debt bubble is just one more reason why I recommend diversifying your retirement account into physical gold. Gold can preserve your savings through almost anything. And if you take advantage of a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay zero penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement fund. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898. My friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on Gold IRA. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust. So text PROTECT to 989898 to request your free kit on gold IRAs right now.
Boeing is landing in federal court today in Chicago, facing the families of plane crash victims.
The Boeing 737 MAX 8 crashed minutes after takeoff in March of 2019 in central Ethiopia, killing 157 people on board. Boeing has settled with most families of victims, including the deadly Lion Air MAX 8 crash that killed 189 people months earlier. But dozens of cases remain open, including 6 in a trial in federal court in Chicago, where Boeing, maker of the MAX jet, was based in 2019. The company also reached a $244 million settlement with the Justice Department to avoid criminal prosecution for misleading federal regulators by hiding details of a faulty flight control system implicated in the crashes. Jeff Monosto, Fox News.
Stocks could drop on Wall Street when trading resumes this hour after a long holiday weekend. Dow futures have been down more than 100 points last week. The Dow gained 1%. The NASDAQ rose 3%. We're 13 months away from the next Olympics next summer in Paris. And French police are going for the gold.
Prosecutors say these raids are over alleged embezzlement of public funds and favoritism. This investigation started back in 2017 after questions were raised over contracts made by the 2024 Summer Games Organizing Committee. Paris 2024 says it's cooperating fully with investigators as its offices are searched. There's been no comment from the French police. The Olympics begin on July 26th next year, with the Paralympics getting underway on August 28th. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
In baseball, the Cincinnati Reds won their 9th straight game, beating Colorado 5-4. And because Milwaukee lost to Arizona, the Reds leapfrogged the Brewers into first place in the National League Central Division. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The UK Daily Mail is reporting a detail today on Hunter Biden's choice of banks while he was serving on the board of Burisma. Burisma's owner, they believe, may have sent as much as $10 million to Hunter and his father, $5 million each, using a complex web of offshore transactions. Now, we need answers to these questions. Emails obtained from Hunter's laptop show that he gave income statements, passport details, even utility bills to the Burisma executive to set up an account at a now defunct SEDA bank in Malta in 2016. That was shut down in 2018 after investigations by the Maltese anti-money laundering agency, the Financial Intelligence Analyst Unit, which found, quote, gross deficiencies in their adherence to the country's anti-laundering and fair financing laws.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Listen, the economy is not going back to how it was before. Remember how quickly it all went bad? First, it was inflation, then another housing market bubble. Banks started crashing, and now the Fed is laying the groundwork for a digital currency. Do you see it yet? Your money is being attacked from almost every angle. So at this point, you could bury your head in the sand and pretend everything will get better, or take advantage of this opportunity to protect your wealth while you still can. So write this down, because you'll not only get the chance to protect your retirement savings now, you could get up to $10,000 in free silver from Sean Hannity's partner, Goldco. You heard right, $10,000 in free silver from Goldco when you call 855-815-GOLD. So don't miss what could be your best opportunity to protect your retirement savings today. Call 855-815-GOLD. That's 855-815-GOLD.
This weather update is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Local weather now with sunshine today and getting hot. Light northwest breeze, high of 91. Mostly clear, 68 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, slight chance of showers. Then showers and thunderstorms are likely. High 86. Thursday, slight chance of showers. Then a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. High Thursday, 86. Staff meteorologist John Weatherby on Meridian's News Talk Leader. News Talk 102.1 WALTFM.
Keeping Meridian connected locally and around the world. This is News Talk 102.1 FM, WALTFM, Meridian. The local voice of Meridian is here. Now back to more of Mornings in Meridian on News Talk 102.1 WALT.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Mornings in Meridian. That is the two best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Roger B., along with the main man, Rob.
Hey, good morning.
How about it, my friend?
How are you?
We're having a fun morning with the sheriff, of course, talking about all the problems in our society. Works out pretty good.
I'm not talking about all of them.
Some of them.
There's so many.
We've only got another 50 minutes here. So.
Oh, that's all right. And we've got time for your calls and questions, too, to add. If you have a question for the sheriff, this is the day and time to do it. Our number here is 601-485-9191. 601-485-9191. And this show is brought to you in part by our good friends down there at Purvis Business Machines. You know, Jerry and Betty Purvis, they run a tight ship down there. And that's why they've always been able to just basically tell the truth and say they give service, not excuses.
Absolutely. Beautiful showroom down there at 4505 Highway 39 North here in Meridian, or you can shop online at gopurvis.com. And Roger, you can save up to 85% on these lease return color copiers there at Purvis.
The color copiers, one that look like you have a 4-color print shop.
Exactly. 85% savings right there.
Oh, that's sweet.
And of course, they sell, service, rent, and lease. Of course, quality name brand office equipment, those all-in-one devices that print, scan, copy, fax, email. Of course, we're talking about name brands like Toshiba, CopyStar, Kia, Sarah, Hewlett Packard. They've got them all at Purvis Business Machines out on Highway 39 North, 4505 Highway 39 North, or online at gopurvis.com. And as we said, service, not excuses, since 1979. Call them today for sales and support, 601-693 Copy. That's 601-693-COPY. Don Lucas, Jerry Purvis, the entire staff down at Purvis Business Machines.
All right. It's Mornings in Meridian. Sheriff is with us here this morning. Welcome back, sir. Thank you for taking time to be here.
Glad to be here, sir.
Kind of humbled me when I realized that he's been on the show longer than I have.
A lot longer than you have.
A lot longer. See, that been back with Paul Buckarell.
Absolutely.
And then even before that, was there even a show before that?
I think Paul was here.
Yeah. So
a long time ago.
So yeah, there was a couple of years there ahead of before I arrived on the scene. But anyways, good to have you here.
Glad to be here, sir.
And we've got a great program going. And if you have a question or comment for the sheriff, you can call this number 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
Hey, good morning.
Fine and dandy.
Look, I got a question for the sheriff. What would be the process of us doing a multi-county juvenile detention facility under the Southern Poverty Law settlement?
I would think millions of dollars.
Well, I understand that. I was just wondering, where would it, could it be located in Lauderdale County? Is my question, I guess.
Absolutely.
Another county.
Absolutely. Judge Frank Coleman, before he retired at the Juvenile Center, he worked very hard contacting area counties around us, trying to come up with the funding to have such an operation. We've looked at the last year of operation budget at the Juvenile Center versus what we're spending today transporting our youth out of county. And right now we're spending about half of what we were spending 10 years ago. If you were to taken that budget from 10 years ago and added the cost of everything going up, that budget today would be probably close to $2 million to have what we had back 10 years ago.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Sheriff. Here's a problem. If there's no bid available in the state, so we just put an ankle bracelet on and turn them back out, correct?
Quite often, yes, sir.
Okay, that's my point. We've had some issues as of late, me personally, and it turned out that one of these people had a bracelet on already, so that's not working.
Oh, we've actually had murderers that we've investigated that were wearing ankle monitors.
Yeah, that's a problem. I think we need to address it because we can't pass any laws or do anything to take the place of upbringing. So if you don't have upbringing, I mean, we just gonna have to deal with them, and the only way to do that is to lock them up, as I see.
And I don't want you or anyone else in the community to believe that our youth are not being locked up. My deputies are responsible for transporting these youthful offenders around the state to those very few facilities that will take them. Many of our youth are so bad, once they've gone to a facility in Adams County or one of the other counties, those facilities will say, we don't want your child. So finding locations that will even take our youthful offenders is getting more and more difficult. I talked with our transport folks last week, and at one point last week, we had 26 youthful offenders being housed somewhere in the state of Mississippi on that particular day.
Well, I spent a day at the juvenile facility with the process, and the young lady handling everything, she said, you know, we really need a 50-bed unit. And I looked out in the waiting area and outside, and I said, man, we probably better start with 100. 50 is not going to get us very far.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Rankin County, I think they're charging us like $350 a day per child. So if we had 50 youthful offenders in our facility, and let's just round it off to 300, 50 times 300 a day. Can Lauderdale County afford that?
I think we need a 3 or 4 county area come together and make something happen, because all Newton's having the same problem inside their city.
Sure.
With the juvenile and the shooting. I mean, a huge, and you can speak to this, but it looks to me like a huge part of our bad element is anywhere from 13, 14 up to around 17 or 18, correct?
Absolutely. And most times, those who are in their early 20s will use that 13 to 16 years of age offender because they know they're going to be handling youth court instead of adult court.
That's a problem. Anyway, listening in, glad to hear you on the show, Sheriff.
Thank you. Do appreciate it. And I think
appreciate the call. Thank you very much.
It's time for me to give hats off to Chief Deborah Young. I know she gets beat up a lot, but this week, as I mentioned, the grand jury is going on, and she has directed her staff to clean up messes of previous administrations, previous police chiefs. It's my understanding that the Meridian Police Department is presenting 46 felony DUI cases.
46?
46
Wow.
felony DUI cases.
City. Wow.
Now, these range back to 2019.
Okay.
So that means there's been multiple police chiefs since 2019 that have not directed their staff to present these cases for prosecution. So hats off to Chief Young for rolling up her sleeves and saying, hey, we're going to clean up messes of some of our previous chiefs who failed to direct their staff to enforce the law.
Of course, you're making reference specifically to Chris Reed.
He's one on the list.
And Rob was reading something where on his Facebook page, evidently there's some problems with the sheriff's department currently that he and I guess a candidate for sheriff is going to rectify. So I want to give you a chance to answer that. Rob, do you have that quote?
I'll have to get to it real quick.
Rob was telling me about this morning. So I just wondering. But we've got a caller on the line. In the meantime, good morning, caller. How you doing?
Morning.
How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Why can't these people be locked up? Why can't these juveniles be locked up? As long as you're going to keep continue, slap them on the wrist, let them walk, it's not going to get no better.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
The laws need to be changed.
Yes, sir.
Need to be changed fast.
Absolutely.
Don't the state see that? I mean, what do it take for the legislators and the governor to see that?
I think the state is scared of the ACLU and Southern Poverty suing them for mistreating the youth by locking them
How
up.
they going to sue them when they're the one committing the crime and locked up?
They will say that not enough programs were present to prevent that youth from going down that
There's
path.
a whole lot more programs. I didn't have to have no program when I was at home. I mean, I didn't have to have one.
Yeah.
My parents was the program.
You're absolutely correct, sir. We're from a different
That's the
generation.
way I was brought up. I just don't understand. We can't do nothing with them. We can't do this. I get sick of hearing that.
Yes, sir.
I think somebody needs to come up with something quick.
And it's not just Meridian, Lauderdale County, State of Mississippi. It's a nationwide issue.
I know. I mean, but I just don't understand. I mean, if you commit a grown man's crime, you ought to be thrown in there with the grown folks.
Absolutely.
That's the way I wake up. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir.
If you commit the crime, you need to be thrown up with the old folks.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, can we get this guy on staff? Can
He's kind of like you, Roger. Let me get back with you on that. Okay?
Get back with you on that.
I don't know. We got a couple of good deputies here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I've got the info right here. Of course, there's been a lot of campaign events. Of course, primaries coming up on August the 8th. Well, Chris Reed posted on his Facebook page a few days ago. I think it was an event up at Lauderdale, which was the first annual. I think it was a Lauderdale community event. Talking about Ricky Roberts, who's running for sheriff. He said that Mr. Roberts' top priority is to provide officer presence in the whole county, and whole was spelled in all caps, in the whole county. He's going to bring back integrity, professionalism, and accountability to your sheriff's department. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I think those words have been utilized for the last 27 years. Professionalism, integrity, being the first agency in the state of Mississippi to be accredited as a professional law enforcement agency, to be the model for agencies all over the state to come see, to be a model by the state of Mississippi as far as attempting to protect life through enforcement of the traffic laws such as seatbelt safety and DUI enforcement. We could go all day long talking about what we have done to make our agency a professional agency. The most recent incident, we've had an employee that is very public. It's something that we didn't like. We've been very transparent with it. Haven't held back anything that we could release. This is an investigation that's going on by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations. We certainly don't want to say anything that would hinder their investigation or prevent them from having a 100% prosecutable case if it gets that far. So we've had to release the information we could, that it was a personnel matter, that we can't release the name because it is a personnel matter. Once MBI decides, hey, we've got enough to prosecute, and they either have a probable cause hearing, which is prescribed by state law, or if they wait and present to a grand jury, probably in November or next year, then the name of the individual accused will be released. So we have done everything we know how to do to be as transparent with this particular case as well as any other case that has been brought to our attention.
And in fairness too, as that's been progressing, you guys have been transparent with releasing statements, whether it be social media or through other media outlets, to let us know as much as you can. Let us know.
So what is the status of this deputy right now?
He is
as far as his employment.
He is no longer employed by the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. Again, last time we talked with MBI, they had not decided whether they were going to present to a grand jury or do the probable cause hearing. So as far as criminal charges, that's still in a standby mode.
And by the way, too, we're talking about transparency. We've talked about inviting candidates to come on this program. I've formally invited Mr. Roberts to come on this program. I know Roger has as well, and we have yet to. We've reached out, and we have not gotten a yes or a no to come on this program as of yet. So, but we wanted to mention that statement out there because it did reflect, the current status of the sheriff's department and what one campaign is saying about the current status of the sheriff's department. And if Mr. Roberts and his campaign want to talk about that, then they are more than welcome to come on this program. And the invitation has been put out there numerous times already.
And I know, there were some people on social media that were very critical of me. Suspending that employee with pay. Just so the taxpayers understand, that employee was off Monday night and Tuesday night, was not scheduled to come back to work till Wednesday night. As a government employee, until you're either discharged or criminal charges brought forth, you can't be punished for something that hasn't been investigated. We were still in the investigative process, but we wanted to make sure the general public knew the accused was not wearing a gun, was not out enforcing the law. So that recourse we have is to suspend with pay, reassuring the public that that individual is not on the job, but also protecting the rights of the accused until we get to the point that either severance of employment or criminal charges brought forth.
And I think I heard you read in there something about the wanting to put presence of the sheriff's department in the whole
county, and whole was put in all caps.
And that's, and I think as a person who lives in the county, I want presence out where I live. So I mean, what would you say to that remark?
again, this past year, we had 496 DUI arrests.
Mm-hmm.
Of that, 50% of those arrests came inside the city. 50% of them came out in the county on the rural roads. When you have 4 to 5 deputies on a 12-hour shift, if everybody is in Lauderdale, Kewanee, Sikalana, and Collegeville, it's going to take you a little while to get over to West Lauderdale School. So if you just simply take the old shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Well, if you can cut that line in half and not have your people at the 4 corners of our county, but in a general area that they can easily respond to, you're going to have quicker response time. Again, more and more citizens, including the guy who wants my job, are calling on the sheriff's department to investigate crimes that are occurring inside the city. We take great pride in the fact that citizens say, hey, I need your help, Florida County Sheriff's Department. And my personnel have stepped up and said, hey, there is an agency that should be investigating this, but we'll be more than glad to adopt the case.
So with over 200 DUIs out in the county, what are the best roads to get home on a Saturday night? Just curious, what would be the?
Tell you what, on July the 5th, get back with me, okay?
July the 5th.
Okay, get back with you. I hear you. Keep that a secret. That's right. We got a 4th of July weekend on the horizon here.
Absolutely coming up.
Of course, as the sheriff said, and we certainly agree, if you choose to enjoy adult beverages while out celebrating the 4th of July, make sure somebody's driving the vehicle that is not enjoying those beverages.
Or operating a boat.
That's right.
Yeah, people always forget. Yeah, on the water.
I like the comedian who says, we're talking about boating. He says, everybody out on the water, they're either drunk or 11 years old driving the boat.
Yeah,
right. Easy on that. Yeah. No, seriously, though, boating is something that they have to take into account. There are people out there. You don't have sheriff's deputies on the water.
We don't, but we assist game and fish.
Okay. All right. I hear you. 601-485 601-485-9191. Good. I just thought of something. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
Good morning. Y'all. I want to first of all thank Billy and his team for all the great work they do. There's without his many achievements and certifications, ability to manage and to like you said earlier, trying to get somebody to work. Y'all doing a great job. Your deputy numbers are up higher than anyone else in Mississippi. You're probably the most sheriff department that's received as many achievements that you have done. I don't see that anywhere else. But I have a question. You promoted a question, and I've been thinking about this for a while. For somebody to make a statement that they're going to have deputies present in all the county, do they literally think the supervisors are going to give them extra money for extra cars and extra deputies?
I think they are hoping that the voters won't put those two together like you just did.
And yeah, you're right. And that's when I debate somebody on that, I say, what makes you think? Apparently, you don't pay attention to the supervisors and the amount of deputies that we have and how much the sheriff's department has called into the city. Then you're not going to get that with someone else. And honestly, you said something earlier that made me think there probably need to be some more investigation into one of the 100 members. I don't really say this, but it seemed like years ago, there was a Meridian Police Department employee that was tied up into sexual harassment with a female inmate. I don't know if that's correct. He was associated to somehow him and a couple other officers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the year. It would. I can't recall.
It gets worse as you get older.
I'm like that. I'm having to start looking at old pictures, and fortunately, when you make a picture on your phone, it gives the date the picture was taken.
Yeah, the date. Yeah.
Well, back of the day, we used to write on the back of the pictures.
Yes.
I can remember one of the officers' name, and that would give you a date, but I don't want to mention that on the
That's
phone.
probably good. All right. Well, we appreciate you being out there, and thank you for listening here.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the call. 601-485-9191. If you would like to give a call and have a question for the sheriff, always here almost every month, I would have to say, for the last many decades. And the sheriff's holding up something there. It's called the Cases Presented to Lauderdale County Grand Jury. Tell us about the cases presented to the Lauderdale County Grand Jury.
You got time or got a break?
You know what? Good eye on the clock there, Sheriff.
Yeah.
You know what? You ought to be in radio.
He has been doing the show a while.
Yep.
Do you think when you retire, you might be available for our daily broadcast?
Never know.
You never know.
Mornings.
He's keeping his options open.
He is keeping them open here. It's Mornings in Meridian. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about the cases presented to the Lauderdale County Grand Jury. And I read that upside down.
There you go.
News. Chris Foster. Former President Trump's legal team is expected to move for a delay. The preliminary trial date for holding federal documents is set for August 14th. Fox's Brett Baer asked Trump why defy a subpoena to turn those documents over.
Before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things.
Denies waiting classified or wrong floor plans around him from visitors. It was just news articles. The Coast Guard is searching thousands of square miles of the Atlantic for a Titanic tourist sub missing since Sunday.
Billionaire Hamish Harding is believed to be on board the vessel. His stepson tweeting thoughts and prayers. One of Pakistan's richest men, Shahzada Dawood, and his teenage son also on board. That, according to a statement from Dawood's company. Coast Guard officials say they are exhausting every search effort possible.
Fox's Tom Pyro also on board a French former Navy diver who's led other Titanic expeditions and the founder of the submersible company Ocean Gate. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Jennifer Kushenka with Your Money Now. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has issued multiple recalls, including more than 979,000 Ford Expedition, Lincoln Navigator, F Super Duty, and Super Cab vehicles for a head restraint and destruction issue. Chrysler is also recalling over 80,000 of its Ram 1500 and Jeep Grand Cherokee vehicles for a potential crankshaft failure, and nearly 12,500 of its Jeep Grand Cherokee vehicles from 2022 for potential engine failure issues. Meanwhile, the NHTSA regulators are looking into reports of power loss issues in Hyundai Ioniq 5 vehicles. The massive federal effort to expand internet access to every home in the U.S. has taken a major step forward with the announcement of $930 million in grants to shore up connections in remote parts of Alaska, rural Texas, and dozens of other places where significant gaps in connectivity persist. On Wall Street futures pointing to a lower open. That's your
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to make sure your home is as energy efficient as possible before the summer heat soars. Check out emepa.com for helpful energy tips, calculators, and other resources. And give us a call at 601-581-8600 to schedule your free energy audit. At East Mississippi Electric Power Association, we are here to help you manage your energy use. EMEPA is your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Built on a solid foundation of cast iron and steel, Kubota LO1 Series is part of our tractor lineup, rated #1 durability and owner experience. They feature powerful Kubota diesel engines and easy operation. The durable Kubota LO1 Series. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Harris Tractor, 376 Highway 80 East, Meridian, Mississippi. More than a tractor store. 601-483-2254.
Pop, I'm so excited that spring is finally here.
Me too, Calvin. You know what else I'm excited about?
What?
Right now at Johnson Dodge, Cross your Jeep Ram in Meridian, $199 down is all you need to drive away in style. We've got a huge selection of quality, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from, and more arriving daily.
Only $199 down on any vehicle? Wow, that's amazing, Pop.
Yeah, come see us today. Johnson Dodge, Cross your Jeep Ram, Meridian.
This is an unprecedented time of instability and change. More than ever, families and businesses are looking for security and reassurance that someone is vigilant, watching over what matters most. At Meyer and Rosenbaum, we are committed to meeting our clients' insurance needs. While responsibly practicing daily social distancing, we have been here every day for the love of our clients and our community. Meyer and Rosenbaum, now located at 1901 Front Street, historic downtown Meridian.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, presented by Capital One. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Catch Mornings in Meridian, weekdays from 7 to 9 on Meridian's News Talk, 102.1 WALT.
I'm on the down by you. Nothing about I'm hungry like disco and rhyme. I'm on the hard time after you. Mouth is alive, juice is like wine, and I'm hungry like
All right. Welcome back. It's Mornings in Meridian. Roger B. Rob.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Sheriff's in the house.
Glad to be here, sir.
Thank you for being here. And Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran's John Taylor, 63 years old today.
You can hear Hungry Like a Wolf on our sister station, 97.9, The Buzz.
Perfect. And do we play Anne Murray on our country station?
Sure do.
She is 78 years old today. And John Goodman, the actor, he's 71. I think he's in a new movie release, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been in a lot of good ones.
Yeah, Goodman's been in some good ones. Nicole Kidman, 56 years old today. So happy birthday. If the 20th is your birthday, I already mentioned my buddy Troy Moore. He's getting older. Anyway.
Didn't want to put it out there, did you?
He puts another one out there. Yeah, that's right. And, of course, we're just glad you're out there, folks. And if you have a birthday, go get yourself something nice. I don't know, what would be something nice? Like if you had all this rain we had this week and you realize, wait a minute, we need a roof. That might be your birthday fund. Go put a new roof on.
Hey, sometimes just the simple things in life, right?
There you go.
Like a new roof. So
get you a roof for your birthday, honey.
Well, if you're going to do it, the folks to call is Martin Roofing. Of course, their number 601-485-5920. Of course, roofing's been done right with Martin Roofing for 30 plus years. Of course, they're locally owned and operated, licensed right here in the state. And they take pride in standing behind their work from start, Roger, all the way through cleanup, and that is a fact. And if you run around town, you're going to see some folks working on roofs. You're going to see that little Martin Roofing sign out by someone's driveway. I think they're outnumbering the coroner signs at this point. So 601-485-5920. Our good friends down at Martin Roofing. Could not resist. Had to throw that out there.
Well, and let me just explain how important that is. I know someone who used not our recommended roofers, and after they left and did their quote cleanup, they rented a magnet, from a local place that rents those things, and picked up about a half a big jar full of roofing tacks that would have given the lawnmower flats for years to come. So that's why that cleanup is so important.
Absolutely. So 601-485-5920, Martin Roofing.
Mornings in Meridian. Glad you're out there. Sheriff Stolly's in the house. Sheriff, you've got some statistics. So you're talking about the grand jury is convening this week, and the jury has been wide-eyed and
wide-eyed to witness.
Wide-eyed to witness. And no, tell us about the number of cases county versus city.
Sure. Way back in 1992, when I was with the Meridian Police Department, the city of Meridian and Lauderdale County decided to join in the fight against narcotics. And they wrote a grant, set up a MOU that was approved by the Mississippi Attorney General's office, by both the City Council and the Board of Supervisors, and began funding the operation of the East Mississippi Drug Task Force way back in 1992.
92.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And that rocked along for many, many, many years, with lots of people being identified and prosecuted by city and county officials, our law enforcement officials. The original concept was 5 city officers and up to 2 county officers. Well, over the years, that changed a lot. In late 2017, 2018, things got pretty tense between the city and the county. We had
Why was that?
We had money.
Okay.
Bottom line, money. The interstate interdiction program. The MOU was rewritten several times, giving direction as to what entity was going to be doing what. If the city did this, then the county with the drug task force was going to finish up the investigation. And as both the city and the county developed interstate interdiction units, a formula was devised to divide any money that was awarded by the court as forfeited money.
You're talking about seized funds?
Seized funds.
Yeah, okay.
It was a 60-40 relationship. If the city made the stop and the drug task force was called in the process, the city would get 60% of the awarded amount by the court, and the county would get 40%. Vice versa. If the county made the stop, the city would get 40%, the county would get 60%.
And what was the reasoning behind the 60-40 formula?
It's just been the formula that's been used on other grants for the city and the county.
So the arresting agency gets the 60%,
Right.
basically.
The initiating agency.
The initiating, I like that.
And
Initiating agency.
That rocked along real good for a long time. Lots of money was brought into the county. Back in 2005, I think the county bought like 25 new vehicles with seized money. Again, around the 2016, 2017, 2018 timeframe, I'm at the Mississippi Sheriff's Conference. And one of the sheriffs mentioned to me, what did you think about that $400,000 seizure on the interstate? And I said, what do you mean? And they said, yeah, the Meridian Police Department made a traffic stop, found the money, and they had an agreement with Clark County, unbeknownst to us, that allowed a Clark County deputy to come up and ride with the city officers. So the city administration chose to enter into that agreement, and 40% of that money left Lauderdale County. Did not stay in Lauderdale County to fund our narcotics.
Went to Clark
investigation.
County.
Correct.
Okay.
So, that really set the wheels in motion to, I guess you should say, cause a divorce. We had we had a pretty heated meeting at the training facility with city officials and county officials. A lot of things were said concerning the continued investigation of narcotics crimes.
So because a Clark County deputy was riding with the city police,
right,
they were qualified for those funds.
Correct.
Okay, but the arrest was made in
Lauderdale County.
In Lauderdale County.
Correct.
Okay.
So, that kind of set the wheels in motion for the divorce. So since 2018, the city administration and the various police chiefs since 2018 have said, we're not going to participate with the East Mississippi Drug Task Force. We're not going to provide any personnel. We're not going to provide any money to buy drugs with. We're not going to provide any equipment. Lauderdale County, you're on your own. Since 2018, there have been 969 narcotics cases presented between the Meridian Police Department and the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. 969.
969 total cases.
Total cases. Narcotics cases.
Narcotics, yeah.
Felony narcotics cases. Of that 969, the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department, through the East Mississippi Drug Task Force deputies, have presented 962.
Wow. Wow.
So since 2018,
962.
so since 2018, all those police chiefs since then who tout what they're going to do in the future as chief deputy explain that to the voters.
So the city basically responsible then for looks like total of about 7
Yes, sir.
out of the 969. Now the reason for that is clearly by their choice.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And do we have any reasons? And I guess we could try to reach out to city officials or former city officials. But what's the reason?
People who want to be chief deputy.
Mm.
Well, that's funny you say that. The mayor's going to be on the program tomorrow. I forgot to mention that.
There we go.
Mayor's going to be on 8:00 tomorrow by phone with Ed Skipper.
Oh, good. Join us tomorrow. We'll have Mayor Smith.
So save that question.
Good point there. So
don't know what kind of answer you'll get, but you can save that question.
So Lauderdale County, you're on your own,
pretty much.
And look what you've done with on your own.
Wow.
But all right, let's talk about this. So basically, when you say, and again, for our listeners, they're, I'm just a simple guy, and I'm not that all our listeners are like that. It's just that you needed the contribution of money to buy drugs because that is a kind of a sting operation, right? You buy narcotics to catch narcotics the dealers, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and again, we're taking money out of our budget. About every 4 to 6 months, I go to the board of supervisors and say, I need a check cut for $5,000 to be utilized to attempt to buy from a dealer within Lauderdale County.
So what is the real problem then? I'm going to go back to this idea that the city made an agreement with Clark County. They had, that's a county outside of where where Meridian is located. What was the reasons given for that?
Wasn't in the meeting, sir. Don't know.
Okay.
They entered into agreements with other counties besides Clark County.
Okay.
But that $400,000 seizure, that really hurt.
So was it like a deliberate way? It seems like a deliberate way to take funds away from Lauderdale County
taxpayers.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is noteworthy. This is important stuff.
Yes, sir.
So if you just joined us, that's an important story. Find out why. Why is it that after the drug task force agreement was between the county, Lauderdale County, and the city of Meridian, which is in Lauderdale County?
Correct.
Why was there an agreement then to take money out of the hands of Lauderdale Countyans and put it in other counties?
Correct.
All right. Good point.
So just to be clear, those numbers are from 18 until somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yes, around 2016 to 2018 when that seizure occurred.
Okay.
And like I said, the only way I found out about it was at a sheriff's conference that another sheriff knew about it.
Wow.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, so something to consider here, folks. This is not, this is important time. Lauderdale Countyans are making decisions as well. A lot of people across the state are making decisions when it comes to election time. So pay attention closely to the facts and not always the fluff. 601-485-9191. If you have any questions for the sheriff, this is the time. We have a few minutes left. While we're talking about fun stuff, let's talk about Meehan Day.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned it.
That's coming up 24th here, Rob. What can people expect here on Saturday?
Well, they're going to have a 50-50 raffle there this Saturday. They're going to have barbecue plates there for sale, some half chicken plates, and of course, all the funds are going to go back there to the volunteer fire department. It does a lot of good stuff out in our community, and I say our community because that's my hometown right there. So they'll get started at 10:30 on Saturday morning, go till about 2 o'clock that afternoon. So yeah.
Swing by Meehan from 10:30 to 2. You get pulled pork plates for $10, and barbecue plates, chicken barbecue plates for $10. And
I imagine some of them political folks will probably be out there too.
And Rob, I really hate that.
As well they should.
I really hate that they're not going to have a Dunkin' booth for you.
It might have been suggested. I might have missed that meeting.
That's when you get volunteer when you miss meetings.
Exactly.
Ooh, there you go.
But it should be a good day on Saturday. Hope to see everybody out there, and they do a lot of a great job organizing that.
And if you want to order a whole Boston butt, That's $35. And you can pre-order that by calling Margie Blackwell at 601-938-0443, 938-0443. Patty Duke, not the actress, 601-479-3333, 601-479-3333. And of course, Wayne Robinson, 934-6389.
All right, I have to throw the joke out there from Paul Tarver. I think you get both cheeks with that.
Okay. Mornings in Meridian.
That's PT's joke, not mine.
Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Hey, good morning. How you all doing this morning?
Hey. Great. Very well. Thank you for asking.
Great. Let me preface by saying, Sheriff Solly, I don't believe in luck, so may God bless you in your retirement and job well done. And I know you just can't wait, and you're going to be missed. But if you will allow me to I don't want to put words in your mouth. I was listening to you talking about the agreement that the county and the city had relating to the task force. I don't think I'm hearing you say that the chief of police and the sheriff, it's their prerogative to run their, respective departments as they wish. But I'm hearing you say at minimum a courtesy alert or something to the effect to let you know the possibility of this coming up. Because I don't think I'm hearing you saying that, that the chief, is they can do what they will and enter into an agreement with whomever. But the agreement that you all had obviously was working, and they knew that these actions would take funds from Lauderdale County and from your department. A courtesy or heads up or something would have been sufficient. Am I hearing you correctly on that?
Sir, I wish someone had taken a picture of my face when that sheriff told me at that sheriff's conference about that seizure that took place in my county that I had no knowledge of.
Mm-hmm. But the question I'm asking though, the chiefs can do what they will.
Through the city council's approval, yes, sir.
Right on. Okay, that's what I was getting to say. Well, listen, I don't know how much that the new mayor can tell us because this was, before his time. But I'm gonna ask you this question. I'll hang up and listen. Is it anything that the new mayor could have done to reverse it, and we go back to the old setup that was obviously working? Listen to the numbers that you just gave. I was blown away.
Well, having been the police chief, I have tried to inform most of those police chiefs that have followed me. You may be the police chief, but you're not the boss. The mayor is the boss.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So the mayor can direct the police chief and the police department to do many, many things legally.
Right. Okay. Okay, Sheriff. Well, thank you again for making yourself available. Always.
6 more times, sir. And by the way, did you say luck?
I don't believe in luck. I said, God bless you.
My big mission come January the 1st is making sure my wife doesn't kill me.
We're gonna need God's blessing for that.
When I'm around the house a lot, I'm a bit concerned about that because she went to the same police academy that I did.
Okay. Yeah.
That honeydew list is just gonna be extended. That's what's gonna happen.
Hey,
All right.
That'll drive him back to the workforce.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the phone call. 601-485-9191. And you may have said it, Sheriff, but let's go back to this number because you really, and this caller is a good example of listeners being educated as to really what's going on out there. 969 felony drug cases presented to the grand jury, and out of that 969, 962 presented by the sheriff's department, not the city.
That's correct.
And how many of these 962 were felonies that happened inside the city limits?
I would venture to say 80 to 85% of them.
Ow. All right. That paints the picture for you.
It does.
And that's something that people in Lauderdale County, City of Meridian, that's what you need to know about, folks. And this is every time the sheriff is on, folks, and I know this may not happen in my lifetime, but I can tell you right now that I have always been in favor of, and hopefully one day we'll see that Lauderdale County will be one law enforcement agency. It'll be the sheriff's department patrolling the whole county, inside the city, outside the city, like other communities have found and done successfully, by the way, because if we're fighting crime, if we're all on the same side, we do not need to be. We don't need to have our two major law enforcement agencies in turf war.
I agree.
So, like I said, folks, whatever you got to do to get the legislators to approve this unified law enforcement agency. And I realize what happens. Well, what if you're not always going to have Sheriff Solly. He's going to be gone in 6 months, whatever, this kind of thing. Well, at least the people do have the say who the boss is.
Sure.
It's not just,
it's voted on by the people.
It's so politically toxic.
Sure.
Something
you need to pay attention to. You probably don't watch this on patrol live on Friday night, Saturday night.
I watch.
The vast majority of the agencies are sheriff's departments.
They are. They are.
Because police departments are not completely run by the chief.
Gotcha.
And mayors don't want that sometimes bad notoriety of crime in their community. Sheriffs are there to enforce the law, whether it's puts a blemish on the community and not identify and bring to justice.
My personal favorite is Daytona Beach on there. I don't know which one's your favorite.
You don't like Fulton?
I do like them. I like Daytona Beach.
Okay, I got to watch the show. I got to watch the show now.
It's on reels every Friday and Saturday. It's great.
485-9191 is a talk line. Caller, stand by. We're going to pay a bill, and we, I guarantee if you go up to Doc's Toyota, you might be tempted to have all the squad cars are Toyotas.
Absolutely. 601-600-3786. Of course, their new location at Highway 16 West in Philadelphia, or you can shop online at docstoyota.com. They got that new and used inventory online there for you. Of course, Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, they've got them on the lot. Good pre-owned selection. They offer everything from affordable beginner cars all the way to the top of the line luxury. And there's no deal like a Doc's deal. 601-600-3786. Of course, they got that service department open there as well. And they even open up the doors there at the service department on Saturday until noon. So just a short drive up to Highway 16 West in Philadelphia. That's Doc's Toyota, 601-600-3786, or you can shop online there on your desktop, docstoyota.com.
All right, another call. Mornings in Meridian. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
Just fine, sir. Thank you, Highwayman.
All right. Since the city quit participating in the drug task force, when the sheriff, all this 900 cases, do they get any money out of this, the city?
No, sir. I mean, and most of these cases don't involve asset forfeiture. Most of them are drug dealers that have been identified through using our money to buy drugs from them. But most of these cases are not your asset forfeiture like out on the interstate.
Praise you, young man, for doing that. Y'all be good.
Thank you so very much.
All right, mornings in Meridian, and of course, anything, Sheriff, that we haven't covered in just a couple of minutes we have left that you might want to tell the folks out there in Lauderdale County.
Well, again, you got just a few weeks to go before the August 8th primary. I strongly encourage everyone to go out and vote. We have several big contested races: the District 1 supervisor, the Justice Court judge, the sheriff's race, the coroner's race. All those are. I've got qualified individuals. I encourage you to get out and study the candidates themselves. If they tell you something, research it. Don't believe everything you hear. Research it.
All right. Very good. And a good place to research, by the way, is listen to Mornings in Meridian, WALT. Where we
That's right.
Try to bring the candidates through so you can hear what they all have to say.
And again, hats off to Chief Deborah Young for cleaning up this mess with his DUI cases. It's been sitting in boxes.
How many of those cases are there, do you think?
There's 46 being presented this grand jury.
Oh, okay.
That date back to 2019. They've been sitting in boxes.
Well,
good job.
All right. All right. So let's give a little preview about tomorrow's show there, Rob.
8 o'clock tomorrow morning, scheduled to have Mayor Jimmy Smith and Ed Skipper on the program, and going to be talking about, you remember the little exchange on social media the city council and the mayor's office had recently?
Yeah.
They want to come on the show and address that tomorrow, and we'll try to cover some other topics, and we'll have them by phone tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Sheriff Solway, always glad to have you here with us. And we want you to come back. Well, I'd say next month will be July.
Yes, sir.
All right. So
5 more after that.
Any consorts between now and then?
No, sir. But we've got 3 lined up.
3 lined up. He's such a rocker.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, that's it for today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Rob, wish them all farewell.
All right, folks. Have a good day. Glenn Beck is next.
Remember, buy local when you can.